Welcome to Malice and Mystery. Premonitions have long fascinated humanity, existing at the crossroads of science, psychology, and mysticism. These sudden, intuitive flashes, whether experienced as dreams, gut feelings, or unexplained warnings, challenge our understanding of time, consciousness, and reality. While often dismissed as coincidence or superstition, premonitions persist across cultures and history, hinting at deeper truths about human perception and the nature of existence. The enigma of premonitions, a journey into the unknown. In a world increasingly defined by empirical evidence and scientific rigor, premonitions remain one of humanity's most persistent mysteries. Existing at the intriguing intersection of psychology, neuroscience, and metaphysical speculation. These sudden, often unsettling flashes of insight, whether they manifest as vivid dreams, intuitive hunches, or overwhelming feelings of impending events, captivated human consciousness throughout recorded history. From ancient civilizations interpreting prophetic visions to modern individuals recounting uncanny warnings that saved their lives. Premonitions have maintained their place in human experience despite our growing understanding of the natural world. The phenomenon itself defies easy categorization, presenting as both deeply personal and universally recognized. Consider the countless documented cases where individuals report experiencing vivid premonitory sensations before significant events. A mother waking in the middle of the night with an inexplicable certainty that her child is in danger miles away. A businessman canceling a flight hours before its tragic crash without any logical reason. Or the recurring dream that precisely predicts future details down to minute specifics. These experiences, while subjective, share remarkable commonalities across cultures and historical periods, suggesting something fundamental about human perception that science has yet to fully explain. What makes premonitions particularly compelling is their apparent defiance of conventional understanding of time and causality. In a universe governed by linear progression from past to present to future, how can we account for moments when this sequence seems to bend or break? Modern science typically dismisses such experiences as coincidence, confirmation bias, or psychological projection. Yet the sheer volume of reported incidents and their consistency across different populations challenges these dismissive explanations. The phenomenon raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness, the limitations of current scientific paradigms, and perhaps most fundamentally, whether our understanding of reality itself might be incomplete. As we stand on the threshold of unprecedented advances in quantum physics and cognitive science, premonitions represent a frontier where traditional boundaries between fact and fiction blur. They challenge us to reconcile ancient wisdom with modern knowledge, forcing us to consider whether what we perceive as supernatural might actually be natural. Phenomena operating beyond our current comprehension. This exploration isn't merely academic. It touches upon fundamental aspects of human existence, our relationship with time, our understanding of consciousness, and our capacity to navigate the uncertain waters of future possibilities. The historical tapestry of premonitions. Throughout human history, premonitions have woven themselves into the fabric of cultural narratives, appearing prominently in religious texts, mythological accounts, and historical records. Ancient civilizations regarded these phenomena not as mere coincidences, but as divine communications or cosmic warnings. The Bible contains numerous instances of prophetic dreams and premonitory visions. From Joseph's interpretation of Pharaoh's dreams, foretelling 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine, to Paul's vision directing him to Macedonia. Similarly, the Quran references premonitory experiences through dreams and revelations, while Buddhist texts document countless instances of enlightened beings perceiving future events through meditative states. Classical civilizations formalized the study and interpretation of premonitions through elaborate systems of divination and prophecy. The Oracle of Delphi in ancient Greece became a renowned center where priestesses, believed to channel divine foresight, delivered cryptic predictions that shaped military campaigns and political decisions. Roman leaders maintained official augurs who interpreted omens and premonitory signs, considering them essential tools for statecraft. These practices weren't limited to Western civilizations. Ancient Chinese scholars developed sophisticated systems for interpreting dreams and portents, while Mayan priests meticulously tracked celestial patterns they believed could reveal future events. Historical figures have frequently credited premonitions with altering the course of events. Abraham Lincoln reportedly dreamed of his own assassination days before it occurred, while Mark Twain claimed to have foreseen his brother's death in precise detail weeks before receiving news of the tragedy. During World War II, Winston Churchill allegedly canceled plans to attend a diplomatic event after a disturbing premonition, only to learn later that the venue had been bombed. These accounts, spanning centuries and continents, demonstrate the persistent role premonitions have played in human decision-making and historical outcomes. Societies have traditionally approached premonitions through complex frameworks that combine spiritual, philosophical, and practical elements. Native American tribes developed intricate systems for interpreting dreams and visions, viewing them as direct communication from the spirit world. African traditional religions incorporated premonitory experiences into their understanding of ancestral guidance and spiritual protection. Even in more secular societies, premonitions found their way into legal proceedings and medical practices. Medieval European courts sometimes considered prophetic dreams as evidence, while healers relied on intuitive warnings to diagnose illnesses before symptoms appeared. The persistence of premonition-related beliefs across diverse cultures suggests they serve deeper psychological and social functions. Anthropological studies indicate that societies with strong traditions of interpreting premonitions often exhibit greater social cohesion and collective resilience during crises. These belief systems provided frameworks for understanding uncertainty, processing grief, and making sense of seemingly random events. Rather than dismissing these historical accounts as mere superstition, contemporary researchers recognize them as valuable windows into how different cultures have attempted to grapple with the fundamental human experience of anticipating future events. The scientific lens on premonitions. Modern scientific investigation into premonitions has yielded fascinating insights, while simultaneously highlighting the complexity of separating genuine phenomena from psychological artifacts. Neuroscientific research has revealed that the brain operates on multiple temporal scales simultaneously, with various regions processing information at different rates. The anterior cingulate cortex, responsible for error detection and conflict monitoring, shows increased activity milliseconds before subjects consciously recognize potential threats or errors in laboratory settings. This neural mechanism, termed error-related negativity, suggests that our brains may indeed possess a primitive form of predictive processing that could manifest as intuitive warnings or premonitory feelings. Cognitive psychologists have identified several well-documented phenomena that might contribute to the experience of premonitions. The confirmation bias effect plays a significant role, where individuals selectively remember and emphasize instances where their premonitions seemed accurate while disregarding numerous occasions when similar feelings proved incorrect. Pattern recognition. The brain's remarkable ability to detect meaningful connections between disparate events can create the illusion of prescient awareness when applied retroactively to random occurrences. Additionally, the phenomenon of implicit learning allows individuals to unconsciously process subtle environmental cues and behavioral patterns, sometimes resulting in accurate predictions that feel mysteriously intuitive. Quantum physicists have proposed even more radical theories that challenge classical notions of time and causality. The concept of quantum entanglement, where particles remain interconnected regardless of distance, has led some researchers to speculate about non-local connections between events in space-time. While controversial, these ideas suggest that our conventional understanding of cause and effect might be incomplete. Some theoretical models propose that consciousness itself could interact with quantum fields in ways that allow access to information beyond immediate sensory perception. Though these hypotheses remain speculative and lack empirical verification, experimental studies have produced mixed results regarding the validity of premonitions. Controlled laboratory experiments using randomized sequences and double-blind protocols have generally failed to demonstrate consistent predictive abilities beyond chance levels. However, certain studies examining physiological responses to emotionally charged stimuli have shown intriguing results. Research participants often display measurable changes in skin conductance, heart rate, and brainwave activity seconds before being exposed to disturbing images, even when the image selection is completely randomized and unpredictable. These findings, while statistically significant, remain controversial due to methodological challenges and the difficulty in ruling out alternative explanations. The field of parapsychology has conducted extensive research into premonitions, though its findings remain contentious within mainstream scientific circles. Meta-analyses of precognition studies show small but statistically significant effects, suggesting that while individual studies may be inconclusive, there might be a weak but real phenomenon requiring further investigation. Critics argue that publication bias and methodological weaknesses undermine these conclusions, while proponents maintain that dismissing the data entirely represents scientific dogmatism rather than open inquiry. Recent advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning have provided new perspectives on premonitions. Algorithms trained on vast data sets can identify complex patterns and make predictions that seem eerily prescient, demonstrating how pattern recognition and statistical analysis can create the appearance of foresight. This technological parallel helps explain how human intuition might similarly process vast amounts of unconscious information to produce accurate predictions, without conscious awareness of the underlying reasoning. The personal dimension. Case studies of premonitions. Some of the most compelling evidence for premonitions comes from personal testimonies of individuals whose lives were profoundly impacted by these experiences. Neuroscientist Dr. Julia Mossbridge, an expert in time perception, has documented numerous verified cases, such as Sarah, a California mother who woke one night with an overwhelming sense that her daughter was in danger. Despite her daughter being miles away at college, Sarah rushed to her apartment, arriving just before paramedics responded to her unconscious child's diabetic crisis. Medical records confirmed that Sarah's timely intervention likely saved her daughter's life. Another striking case involves airline pilot David Booth, who had a vivid nightmare about an impending air disaster weeks before ICER Flight 405 crashed under identical circumstances in 1992. His detailed warning, documented in official correspondence, accurately described the weather, runway issues, and mechanical failures that contributed to the tragedy. Though initially dismissed, his premonition led to safety reviews that improved aviation standards, potentially saving countless lives. Medical professionals also report premonitions influencing their work. Psychoanalyst Dr. Elizabeth Lloyd Meyer documented instances where colleagues acted on intuitive warnings. One surgeon canceled a routine procedure due to a persistent feeling something was wrong, later discovering life-threatening complications. Another physician accurately predicted patient deaths hours before clinical signs appeared, allowing families crucial time for end-of-life preparations. Survivors of major disasters often credit premonitions for their survival. During the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, many reported unusual anxiety or dreams that prompted them to move inland before the waves struck. In one verified case, a 10-year-old British girl on vacation in Thailand urged her family and others to leave the beach after recalling a geography lesson about tsunamis, saving dozens of lives. Similar accounts emerged during the September 11th attacks, with individuals reporting unexplained urges to avoid the World Trade Center that morning. These personal stories gain credibility when paired with corroborating evidence. Business executive John Williams documented his premonitions about market crashes in detailed journals, showing how these intuitive warnings guided successful investments over 2 decades. His entries include specific dates, predicted events, and outcomes, challenging purely psychological explanations. Similarly, law enforcement officers have reported intuitive breakthroughs in solving crimes, with documented cases showing how these insights led to arrests that might otherwise have remained unsolved. Perhaps the most compelling cases involve highly specific, verifiable details. Artist Pam Reynolds, during a near-death experience in 1991 brain surgery, reported precise observations about procedures and equipment while clinically dead. Her account matched medical records exactly, including descriptions of specialized instruments used during her surgery. Such cases, supported by objective documentation, challenge our understanding of consciousness and perception, suggesting that human awareness may operate in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. The psychological landscape of premonitions. The psychological roots of premonitions stem from a mix of evolutionary survival mechanisms and cognitive processes. Evolutionary psychology suggests that premonitions may arise from our ancestors' need to detect subtle threats quickly, leading to advanced pattern recognition skills. This explains why many premonitions feel like warnings. Our brains are wired to scan for danger, often subconsciously. Cognitive biases also shape premonitions. The availability heuristic makes memorable premonitions seem more significant, while confirmation bias leads us to focus on evidence supporting them and ignore contradictions. Hindsight bias further distorts our perception, making unrelated events seem connected in retrospect. Neuroscience highlights brain regions involved in premonitions. The amygdala processes threats rapidly, often before conscious awareness, while the insula integrates bodily sensations with emotions, creating the strong sense of certainty tied to premonitions. The brain's pattern recognition abilities, combined with epiphania, can generate false but convincing feelings of foresight. The default mode network, active during rest, may also contribute by weaving disparate information into coherent narratives. The placebo effect and expectation theory further explain premonitions. Belief in intuitive abilities can prime the brain to notice confirming evidence while ignoring contradictions, creating self-fulfilling prophecies. The brain's prediction machinery, essential for basic functions, sometimes extends into areas where prediction isn't possible, producing the sensation of knowing future events. Together, these factors create a fertile ground for premonitions. While they don't confirm genuine precognition, they explain why premonitions feel so real and persist across cultures, even without consistent scientific evidence. The quantum connection. Exploring non-local consciousness. Quantum mechanics offers intriguing possibilities for understanding premonitions, challenging traditional views of time, space, and consciousness. Quantum entanglement, where particles remain connected across distances, suggests information might transcend spatial and temporal limits. Nobel laureate Brian Josephson proposed that consciousness could operate through quantum coherence, enabling non-local interactions and access to information beyond sensory perception. Experiments showing human intention influencing quantum random number generators support this idea. Theoretical physicist Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff's orchestrated objective reduction theory suggests consciousness arises from quantum computations in brain microtubules. This model implies that quantum superposition states might allow the brain to process multiple temporal possibilities simultaneously, offering a scientific basis for premonitions. Quantum biology reveals that biological systems, like photosynthesis and bird navigation, exploit quantum coherence. If the brain similarly harnesses quantum effects, it could enhance pattern recognition and predictive abilities, potentially explaining premonitions. Research into neural microtubules and synaptic transmission hints at quantum processes in the brain. Retrocausality in quantum mechanics, where present actions can influence past events, further complicates our understanding of time. This concept suggests that consciousness might access future information through quantum entanglement, creating premonitions without violating classical causality. Some theories propose that consciousness influences quantum wave function collapse, meaning observation might actively shape reality. True, this could explain how premonitions impact future events through quantum interactions. While these ideas remain speculative, they represent serious efforts to bridge subjective experiences with scientific understanding. Advances in quantum technology and brain imaging may soon test these hypotheses, potentially revolutionizing our view of consciousness and its connection to reality. Beyond coincidence, evaluating the evidence. The evidence surrounding premonitions is complex, blending elements of fact and fiction. Large-scale studies show small but consistent effects exceeding chance, hinting at unexplained phenomena, despite most experiences being attributed to psychological factors. Meta-analyses of precognition experiments reveal effect sizes slightly above chance, suggesting something beyond random occurrence. However, the replication crisis in psychology casts doubt on some findings, with mixed results in rigorous replications. This inconsistency underscores the need for methodological rigor in parapsychological research. Alternative explanations, like advanced AI models and implicit learning, show how seemingly mysterious predictions can arise from analyzing environmental cues or unconscious processing. While these challenge the idea of genuine precognition, they don't fully account for all reported experiences. The burden of proof for precognition remains high, requiring extraordinary evidence. Anecdotal accounts and small studies offer intriguing hints, but lack the robust, reproducible evidence needed for scientific acceptance. Yet, dismissing all premonitions as coincidence or psychological artifacts seems premature given their consistency across cultures and history. This suggests a middle ground. Most premonitions can be explained by known mechanisms, but some phenomena may remain unexplained. Future advances in neuroscience, quantum computing, and AI could provide the tools to resolve this mystery. Until then, premonitions remain a fascinating enigma, suspended between fact and fiction. To future horizon. Premonitions in a scientific age. As science advances, the study of premonitions sits at the intersection of groundbreaking fields like quantum neuroscience, artificial intelligence, and chronobiology. Quantum neuroscience explores how consciousness interacts with fundamental physical processes, potentially revealing the neural mechanisms behind premonitions. AI and machine learning could analyze vast data sets to identify patterns in intuitive experiences, distinguishing genuine phenomena from psychological artifacts. Meanwhile, chronobiology investigates how biological rhythms and time perception might explain premonitions as sophisticated temporal processing, evolving understanding of physics, particularly quantum field theory and multidimensional spacetime, opens new possibilities for reimagining time and causality. This could validate aspects of premonitions that currently defy explanation. Such discoveries could revolutionize fields like medicine and disaster prevention, integrating intuitive warnings into emergency systems or diagnostics. Ultimately, the study of premonitions bridges ancient wisdom and modern science, deepening our appreciation for the complex relationship between consciousness, time, and reality. As we explore these frontiers, we may uncover mechanisms that explain premonitions or redefine our understanding of existence itself. This journey reminds us that the human mind remains a vast, uncharted territory full of wonder and possibility. What do you think of this video? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore more mysteries with us.